In a dramatic turn of global politics, President Donald Trump and his NATO ambassador Matthew Whitaker have made their boldest move yet. A public call for Germany, not the United States, to take over NATO's most powerful military position. For more than 75 years, only American generals have commanded the alliance. Now, with the US shifting its eyes towards China, Trump wants Europe, especially Germany, to take charge of the continent's security. This is not just a policy change, it is a geopolitical earthquake. At the Berlin Security Conference on November 19, 2025, Whitaker made the statement that stunned the allies. I look forward to the day when Germany tells us they are ready to take over the supreme allied commander Europe. The room froze. European officials were blindsided. Germany's representative to NATO, Lieutenant General Wolfgang Wien, gently pushed back, saying the role remained a key US responsibility. But Whitaker wasn't joking. This speech aligned perfectly with Trump's long-standing agenda that Europe must defend itself while the US focuses on the Indo-Pacific and American homeland security. And this time, Trump is pushing harder than ever. Trump's view is simple: NATO has become a liability. According to the administration, the US spends 68% of NATO's total defense budget, while many European allies still fail to meet even the basic 2% requirement. But Trump's new demand is even more extreme: 5% of GDP on defense for all NATO members. Why? Because Trump believes the real threat is not Russia, it's China. The Indo-Pacific, Taiwan, the South China Sea and Arctic competition with Beijing have become Washington's top priorities. So the message to Europe is, take care of your own neighborhood. We're redirecting our power to Asia. The choice of Germany is not accidental. With a $4.5 trillion economy, Germany is Europe's largest economic engine and a crucial military logistics hub for NATO. Berlin has recently increased defense spending to 2.1%, procured F-35 jets and promised to build Europe's strongest conventional army. But there is another reason Trump prefers Germany. This is because Germany listens. France does not. France under President Macron maintains strong strategic autonomy, a nuclear deterrent, and doesn't accept US pressure easily. Paris wants European defense on France's terms, not Washington's. Germany, more cautious and historically restrained after the World War II, is easier to negotiate with from Washington's perspective. This is why Whitaker spoke directly to Berlin, not Paris. If Europe is to lead NATO militarily, the US wants Germany at the wheel. Behind this NATO shakeup lies a deeper shift. The US is moving its military focus to the Indo-Pacific. American troops have already been downgraded in parts of Europe. In October 2025, 700 US troops were relocated from NATO's eastern flank to Asia. The Pentagon openly states, Europe is no longer our primary focus. This means more naval power in the Pacific, more alliances with Japan, Australia, and South Korea, and more preparation for a potential confrontation with China. Trump's advisors, including Elbridge Colby, have long argued for this. Reduce commitments to Europe, strengthen the US in Asia, and ensure America maintains global dominance. To achieve that, NATO must change and Europeans must take responsibility. Europe is deeply divided and Germany is cautious but investing heavily. France is skeptical, preferring an European Union-led defense structure over American directives. The UK, balancing between Europe and the US, supports burden sharing but not a German sassure. Meanwhile, Eastern European countries, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, fear that US disengagement invites Russian aggression. And public opinion? Polls show that trust in US leadership has fallen sharply. More Europeans now see US unpredictability as a threat to NATO cohesion. European leaders worry that a German sassure could signal, the US is stepping back, you are on your own. Ukraine is perhaps the biggest question mark. With Russia still entrenched in the east and the war grinding on, the US is tying its support to European contributions. Whitaker has refused to detail specific commitments, saying only that NATO must adapt to is modern warfighting requirements. In practice, This means Europe leads funding, supplies arms, and shapes post-war security guarantees. The US will support but not lead. This shift could either strengthen European unity or leave Ukraine dangerously exposed. Trump's proposal is not the end, it's the beginning of something much bigger. A 2026 NATO summit will test if Europe can meet the 5% spending target and outline a roadmap for leadership change. If allies fail, the US may further reduce its role. The world is watching. Russia, China is watching. Will a German led NATO emerge? Will Europe finally take strategic control? Or will these tensions fracture the world's most powerful alliance? One thing which remains clear is that NATO's future will not look like its past. Trump is reshaping it. Germany is being pushed to lead it, and Europe is being forced to redefine its own security for the first time in generations. The era of US dominated NATO may be coming to an end. Thank you.